In this lesson, I'm going to walk you through a full reading passage 3. I'm going to show you how to answer every single question. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the passage. As you can see, we've got reading passage 3 on the screen. And it says you should spend around or about 20 minutes on questions 27 to 40, which are based on reading passage 3 below. Now, this passage here is called A Wireless World. Nikola Tesla's forgotten plan to power the planet without wires. So there's no need to skim the passage. We can simply go straight down to the questions themselves. As you can see, it's quite a long passage. All right, so here are the questions. Questions 27 to 33. Do the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage 3? So the first thing to note here is it's asking if the statements agree with the information in the passage. So it's not about what we think. It's all about the information right here in the passage. So just be careful about that. Always use the information in the passage. Let's keep reading. In boxes 27 to 33, right. First one, true if the statement agrees or is the same. Next one is false if the statement contradicts the information. Contradicts means to be different. And finally, not given if there is no information on this. So it's really important to understand the difference between false and not given. So when it comes to false, false means that the statement here and the information in the passage are different, okay? The two things are different. They are not the same. However, when it comes to not given, this means there's no information about this statement. We don't know, okay? We don't know the answer. Now, let's start with the very first question, 27. So people started calling Nikola Tesla a visionary 100 years ago. Okay, so we need to see if we can find this word visionary and 100 years ago and people as well. So let's go back up to the very start and we'll see if we can find that word visionary. That probably should be quite easy to find. There we go. It's right in the very first sentence there, visionary. So let's keep reading and see what it says. So the word visionary is associated with the name of Nikola Tesla. Okay, great. But there's nothing about the time. So let's keep reading. A brilliant inventor and thinker. He combined scientific brilliance with da-da-da-da. Okay, so again, nothing about time. More than 100, here we go. More than 100 years have passed since Tesla died alone in a New York hotel room, forgotten by much of the world. Yet far from slipping, his thinking has da-da-da-da. Okay, so we've got visionary, we've got 100 years, but it doesn't say that people started calling him a visionary 100 years ago. So that means we don't know the answer to this question here. So let's just double check. People started calling Tesla a visionary. Yeah, so we don't know. So this one's pretty simple. It is not given. We don't know. Let's move on now. Let's not waste any more time. We'll go straight to the next one. 28. The modern climate crisis is expected to cause more, that's an important word, more problems than the industrial expansion in the 20th century. Okay, so we're looking for this climate crisis. We're looking for more problems than the industrial expansion. So let's see if we can find that. And remember, more problems, more. So let's go back up to where we found the first answer. So we'll start here. Tesla died alone, da-da-da. His thinking has endured. Okay, nothing about those two things here. The earliest 20th century, there we go. So here's the first keyword, industrial expansion. Following decades of change, da-da-da. In the present day, da-da-da. Climate crisis. So that's the second thing we're looking for. Just as radical thinking once. So again, this one looks like not given again, because remember, it was saying that one of these things is going to cause more problems than the other thing. Well, I can't see anything about that. So let's just quickly go down, double check. The modern climate crisis is expected to cause more problems than the industrial expansion. Yeah, so it doesn't say anything about more problems. So we don't know. And whenever you don't know after reading the passage, that means the answer is NG, or not given. Let's move on to number 29 now. The type of thinking needed to solve problems today is similar to that used in the past. Okay, so type of thinking, solve problems, similar, used in the past. Now, I do remember seeing something about that. I think it was in the last sentence of the second paragraph here. So let's have a quick read and see what it says. So fueled by overconsumption, just as radical thinking, okay, so it's talking about thinking, once reshaped the modern world. Okay, so this is talking about the past. Once, that's in the past. Equally means the same. Transformative solutions are now required, to rethink how we live and prevent large-scale disaster. Now, remember, one of the key words was something about, I think it said solve problems. So prevent large-scale disaster, that is solving a problem. As you can see, it's talking about thinking in the past. It's saying the same, and now it's saying now in the present. So this one looks like it is true. Let's just double check, always double check. The type of thinking needed to solve problems today is similar to that used in the past. Yes. So the answer there is true. Now let's move on to the next one, which is 30. Tesla's global energy system was built in the early 20th century. So one of the main things we'll be looking for here is this global energy system. And the second thing we'll need to be looking for is the time or the date here. Now be careful, 20th century is referring to the 1900s. Okay, so don't think it's talking about the 2000s. No, that's not correct. The 20th century is the 1900s. So let's go back up and remember what we're looking for, that global energy system. That is one of the key phrases here. So let's start from where we finished before. Around 1901, there we go. So that's talking about the 20th century. As electricity grids struggled, Tesla turned in line with the bold engineering ideals. He began, there we go, global energy system. Okay, here it is. And let's see when it was built. Maybe it's going to tell us, maybe it won't. Let's see. Which, due to financial collapse, so financial collapse means big problems with money, would never, there we go, never be completed. So if we go back down, before we do that, never be completed means it wasn't finished, it wasn't constructed, it wasn't built. So if we go back down and have a look, it says the energy system was built. Well, no, it wasn't built. So this is an example of how the statement here is different to what is in the passage. So for the answer for this one will 100% be false. Okay, this is not right. Let's move on, going to 31 now. Traditional power systems harm the environment. Okay, so traditional power systems harm the environment. So pretty much every word there is important, but we're mainly looking for traditional systems harming the environment. So let's go back up and see if we can find it. So we'll start from where we finished before. Financial collapse, never be completed. Yet, given that conventional, there we go. I might actually just delete this so you can see it a bit better. So conventional energy, that means traditional. Conventional just means normal. So normal energy systems are a major driver. Sorry, let me get the highlighter out. Sorry. So conventional energy, major driver or cause of environmental degradation. Degradation simply means damage or harm. So what it's saying is these energy systems here, they are causing environmental degradation or environmental harm or damage. So this one is pretty simple. This one is definitely true. So true, I'll just write that down there. Now let's move on to 32. Some engineers opposed. So engineers opposed the development of new energy systems in Tesla's time. Okay, so we're really looking for engineers. We're really looking for opposed. If you're opposed to something, that means you don't support it, you don't like it, you don't think it should happen. So what were they opposed to? Well, the development or the creation of these new energy systems. Let's go back up, and again, we'll start from where we found the previous answer. So degradation, only natural. Okay, so 20th century, manufacturing, communication. There we go, engineering. So let me just highlight that word. It emerged as a serious scientific discipline. Until then, the large-scale distribution of power had rarely been approached with methodical planning or vision. Okay, that began to change as engineers. There we go. And inventors developed ambitious continent spanning. So that means from one continent to another. So for example, Australia to Asia, across the US and Europe. It was within this context, Tesla set out to rethink the limitations of wired systems. So we've got engineers, but I can't see anything about opposing or not supporting the creation of these new systems. So this one looks like it's going to be not given because we don't know. Okay, we don't know if they didn't support the development of new energy systems. So the answer for this one will definitely be not given. I'll just write that there. Not given. Let's move on to the last question now, which is 33. Tesla left behind clear records of his wireless power system. So it looks like that's one of the key words there, clear, very clear records of his wireless power system. So let's go back up and we'll see if we can find anything about that. Again, we'll start from where the last answer was. So engineers, content, no, okay. So let's start here. It is difficult to piece together a fully coherent or a fully clear or easy to understand model of Tesla's wireless power system. So this is one of the key phrases we were looking for. And remember, the question said it's something about clear records. So if it's difficult to piece together and it's not fully coherent, you can't really understand it easily, well, that means there's no clear records. Let's just keep reading to double check. Due in part to his scattered notes. So his notes were everywhere. Lost blueprints, so things that cannot be found. Inconsistent communication with investors. So all of these things are suggesting that there were no clear records. Let me just double check. Yeah, clear records of his wireless power system. Absolutely not. There were no clear records. That is clear. So the answer there is false. So there you go. There are the true, false, and not given questions completed. Now, that's not the end of passage 3. There's one more set of questions we need to do. So here they are. questions 34 to 40. Complete the summary below. So these are summary completion questions. Choose one word only. Let me read that again. One word only. A lot of students get this wrong. Okay, they read the instructions, but then down here, they'll write 2 words. And even if you get the first word right, the answer is wrong. So just be very careful. From the text for each answer, write your answers in boxes 34 to 40 on your answer sheet. All right, so let's go down and we'll have a look at this summary right here. Now, it's really important to read the title of the summary because a lot of the time it will help you to know where to look and where not to look for the answers. So here's the title right here in yellow, Nikola Tesla's wireless power system. Now, if you remember, we did read something about the wireless power system just before. Now, when you get something like this, where you have to fill in the blanks, it's very helpful to think about what the part of speech will be for each question, or what type of word needs to go in each of these spaces here. Now, you can do this before you start looking for the answers, or you can do it when you get to each different question. For the purposes of this video, we'll just quickly do it all together right now. So 34, it says, would show something of energy. Well, if you're going to show something, well, you'd normally need a noun. So I'm going to put an N right there. Next one, 35, it says transmit electricity and. Well, that's pretty simple. Electricity is a noun, and, well, there's probably going to be another noun. 36, his skill in. Well, if you're skilled in something, it could be something like cooking. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be cooking, but I'm just trying to show you that it's probably going to be a noun or a skill. Now, 37, follow this idea of. Well, after of, we normally have a noun. 38, despite similar ideas being in different cities. Well, for this one, we're probably going to need a verb. Now, if you're not sure, just put something in the space and see if it fits. So let's start with a noun. Let's say I put the word cat in there. Different ideas being cat in different countries. Well, no, that doesn't work. What about an adjective being hot in different countries? Maybe, but probably not. So it's probably going to be a verb. Now let's put the word eat in there. Well, that doesn't make sense because the grammar is not correct. It wouldn't be eat, it would be eaten with that verb 3 to make correct grammar. So we can put there V for verb. 39, something are one example. Well, again, that would probably be a noun. 40, improvements in something. Well, improvements in, again, you'd probably have a noun. So let's start with the very first question. Question number 34. Let me get my highlighter. 34. Now, when you're doing this, it's very important to have a look at the key words in the sentence where the answer is. So, for example, if you look at this one, he believed the Wardenclyffe Tower system. So this here is very important because Wardenclyffe Tower is not something that we're going to be able to paraphrase. So it should be very easy to find in the text. Now, if you want, you can also read the sentence before, but it's not always necessary, but I just want to show you. So for this one, it says, Tesla's remaining documents. Remember, we were looking at that. That was for the last multiple choice question, remember? Just here, it was talking about clear records. So because of that, now we know exactly where to look. Okay, so let's keep going. This tower system would show something of energy across large distances was possible. So this, I think, could be very important, large distances. So let's go back up and we'll see if we can find this tower. Okay, that's very important. So let's go back to where we found the very last answer. Okay, inconsistent communication. Okay, however, There we go. This Wardenclyffe Tower in New York was intended to demonstrate long-range power transfer. Okay, long range has a similar meaning. I think it said long distances in the sentence. Power transfer, efficient energy use, and a cleaner alternative to coal-based systems. So what it's saying is they're trying to show that long-range power transfer was possible. So let's go back down and we'll see if that fits into the space here. So the system would show transfer of energy across large distances was possible. Yes, that looks fantastic. All right, let's move on now to the next one. So his vision for wireless energy, For example, he wanted towers that could transmit both electricity and something with no need for wires. So this is great when it's got two things, because we're going to be looking for electricity and something else. Transmit or send something. So we've got electricity and then something else. Let's go back up and we'll see if we can find those two things. Again, we'll start from where we finished before. So he spoke of to all who need it. His innovation, several features. Okay. He proposed that the tower, there we go, not only two. Okay, not only. So when you see not only, well, we know that there's probably going to be two or more than two things. So not only to send or to move electricity, but also to send signals through the air. Okay, so signals looks like the correct answer here. Let's go back down, put it in the space, and we'll just double check. Transmit both electricity and signals without the need for wires. Yes, that looks good. And just remember to have your S. If you just write signal, well, the answer will be incorrect. Always be careful with your S. Let's move on to 36. So Tesla wasn't just skilled in science. His skill in something was clear in the way he designed the system. So we're going to be looking for this, skilled in science, and his skill in something else. So it looks like it's going to be talking about two or maybe more than two different skills. Let's go back up and we'll see if we can find it. So let's start here. This idea. Okay, so nothing here about skills. So that's fine. We can keep going. While the main structure, the surrounding site, okay, again, nothing about skills. But what set Tesla's project apart was how he used our expertise. So expertise could be maybe something to do with his skills. There we go. Science and visionary engineering. So it looks like these are the two skills. Okay, science. It's already talked about science. And then this would be the second skill, engineering. Now you might be thinking, well, what about visionary? Well, visionary wouldn't fit in the space. Now let's just keep going and just double check, see if there's anything else. He planned a system, the tower's mechanisms, yeah. Okay, so let's go back down and we'll put in the word engineering and see if it fits. So his skill in engineering was clear in the way. Yes, that looks fantastic. It fits and the grammar is correct. Now just pretend you put in the word visionary here. His skill in visionary was clear. Well, that wouldn't make sense, which is why engineering is the correct answer here. Let's keep going and go to 37 now. Let me change color. 37. So he held the belief, okay, protecting nature. Okay, so the power generation of some countries like Norway. Now, whenever you get something like this, again, it's going to be really easy to find in the passage because you can't really paraphrase a country name. You can't really say Norway in a different way. and follows this idea of something. So Norway is following this idea about something when it comes to power generation. And remember, what are we looking for? A noun. Okay, always remember, always think about, what am I looking for? Let's go back up and we'll see if we can locate it. Let me change this. All right. So the towers, we've read that. This idea, there we go. There's Norway, bang, right there. Where most electricity comes from hydropower, okay. Energy policies are focused on what? Long-term environmental sustainability. Okay, that looks like the answer there because it's talking about Norway and it's talking about their energy. I think it said generation in the sentence. I can't remember now. And it's talking about sustainability. That is a noun. Let's go back down and we will put it in and just double check. So yeah, power generation, Norway follows this idea. Yeah, correct. So it would be the sustainability. And again, just double check, follows this idea of sustainability. Yes, that looks correct. It makes sense. And the grammar is correct as well. Oh, sorry. Now let's move on to 38 now. So despite similar ideas being something in different cities. So similar ideas, different cities. Tesla's ideas didn't start to become a reality until the mid-20th century. Okay, so we're looking for similar ideas, we're looking for different cities, and we're looking for this didn't start to become a reality. Let's go back up and we'll see if we can locate that in the passage. So again, we'll start from where we finished. Okay, although, there we go, look at this. London, Berlin. So let's just go back. Although early efforts had been attempted. Remember, we're looking for a verb. And remember, we're looking for a verb 3. So that could be the answer. Before Tesla's work, there was no fully developed vision. It wasn't until... there you go. So we've got those two cities right here. We've got something being tested or done. Okay, early efforts or ideas. So it looks like attempted will be the answer. Let's just double check. So despite similar ideas being attempted, yes, attempted. Now remember to have that ED. If you don't have the ED there, well, the answer would be incorrect. Now just double check the grammar. Being attempted in different cities. Yes, the grammar is correct and the sentence makes sense. Let's move on to 39. So something one example. Now, something that will help you here is that it says are. What comes before are? A singular noun or a plural noun? Correct, a plural noun. So we're looking for a plural noun. So something, one example of a modern technology that reflects his vision. So we're looking for an example of a modern technology, and again, we're looking for a plural noun. Let's go back up and see what we can find. Let's start just here. Some of his ideas take shape. Okay, this could be where the answer is. For instance, propose the concept of geostationary satellites. Okay, satellites could be the answer. Now, geostationary wouldn't be the answer because that's not a plural noun. Geostationary here is acting as an adjective. For global communication, an idea that echoes or reflects Tesla's belief in sending signals and power through the air. So it looks like satellites is the answer here because it's a plural noun and it's talking about, it's reflecting or similar to his or Tesla's, some of Tesla's ideas. Let's go back down, double check. Satellites, SATELLITS. Okay, so let's double check. Satellites are one example of a modern technology. Yes, that looks correct. That looks good. All right, last question, question 40. His ideas are still relevant today, and some researchers believe that improvements in the could come from focusing on wireless technology. Okay, so we're looking for researchers, improvements coming from this wireless technology. Okay, improvements coming from wireless technology. And we need to think about improvements in what? What will improve? Let's go back up and see if we can find the answer. Let's start here. So today, Tesla's ideas are not just relevant. Okay, that was similar to what it was saying in the sentence. They offer a blueprint for how energy might be produced and delivered in the future. Okay, experts, there's a synonym. I believe that using wireless systems instead of relying on it could help. There we go. Help could be another word for improve or make better. Modern societies create cleaner, okay, more efficient infrastructure. So infrastructure looks like the answer because that's what is improving. That's what is going to get better. Let's just keep reading. Always double check. This is yet another reason why Tesla is strongly linked to current developments in energy and seen as decades ahead of his time. So it looks like infrastructure is the correct word there. Let's put infrastructure in. So infrastructure. Let's double check. So improvements in infrastructure could come from focusing on wireless technology. So there you go. We've completed the summary completion questions. All of our answers are one word only. So we have followed the instructions. So that was the third passage for test 2. If you haven't seen passage 2 yet, you can check it out right here. And passage 1 will be right here. Thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next lesson.